passed away. Yeah.
I didn't know that. Yes, I vaguely, but he was an interesting man. Oh my goodness! And he drank where I was a bartender, and I went to Boston to see Al Pacino in a play, and he and Carol Kane were in it. And Carol Kane sort of faints on the stage, and so Taylor fainted. I can hear him now. He said, "Billy, you know, all women in New York are either prostitutes or some man is paying for their up." He ate a brain in the play I did. We did these one acts, and
Nice.
I was in the play with him. You're crazy to get on the stage with him.
So there was a film you did after. I'm not sure if maybe you did it before Fight for Your Life or after, but it was called Savage Weekend.
That was a second. Savage Weekend was the second when I was in Fight for Your Life came right after that.
Got you. What do you remember about shooting Savage Weekend? Because that one's pretty low budget.
Yeah, it was. I remember the director and his wife from Paris fondly. I just visited them in New Mexico. He later made a fortune writing for Dallas. But I would carry lights on the set. I was so happy to be working, and some people are a little crankier. But consequently, he got me in several jobs. I went to the Cannes Film Festival, and he sent me to the right people to get PR when I was there. He's a very brilliant man, semi-retired now, the director. But he had hoped to be a director because he became there was a young kid named Michael Pizer who became a famous Hollywood producer. Never hired me again. Sure. But I was playing the town crazy, and I used part of that experience to put in the Newhart character. And I used a bum on the Bowery with picking lint off his head, and he says, "I'll kill the bitch. I'll kill the bitch." So I wear several layers of clothes and put a quarter in my ear.
Well, I think it's funny because Savage Weekend is it's the shift of the character, right? They portray your character as you think he's going to be the killer, and then he eventually turns out to be the hero, which I thought was kind of interesting.
Yeah, I saw on the internet like 500,000 people almost looked at it or something. And whatever you say, my wife put in this little humble office of mine some silly posters, but I just saw them as a piece of, she did it. I didn't ask her to. It was arty posters. And our friend was visiting from Pennsylvania, and she said, "I don't know any of those people." And that's the beauty of them.
Sure.
Because I get enough praise in Hollywood. You need people. We had a party here last week, and one of them said, "You're making me nervous. Sit down." I'm going around with white gloves, giving them shrimp and shit. But he took me literally. Thank you for laughing. But being here is probably, I just sound like a young actress that's been on a series for 6 weeks. They're not easily impressed. I'm in the American Legion yesterday. I'm sitting between a steel worker, 46 years. Another one owns a concrete company. Down the row is Vietnam, Purple Heart. And I did a little, may I brag, I did a comedy cartoon called Bravest Warriors, YouTube. So I was feeling good, went in. But those people, you got to man up when you go in there. They see right through me. But
that's funny.
It's my country club.
Sure, there you go. Well, I think you have to love films, right, to be super impressed, right? Don't you have in so many ways?
I guess. There was one woman that just came on so strong to me, praising me. It's probably why I joined, but I don't know. People are great back here.
Sure.
They're really strong people. And I don't know how you feel politically. Obama said they like their religion and their guns. But mainly my in-laws, they're all solid, loving, put family first.
Sure.
I've for 20-something years, I didn't think about anything but myself. It's horrible. Now I'm trying to do better.
Yeah, but you got this legacy, right? So it's worth it.
Yeah, well, I got some grandchildren now, too, God praise God.
Even more legacy, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
It continues, yeah.
I thank you for all the kind words. I say this so many times. Where did I steal this? For every 30 people that don't like me, there's 50 that never heard of me.
All right, well,
that's
fair enough.
I stole that,
Sure.
But it's just crazy. I'll be talking to someone in Oklahoma, and they'll say you're an icon. Or we went to a film festival recently, and lady did an interview and said I'm an icon. Well, what the kid from Tim and Eric's show was on Robin Williams' thing that I did. He said, "What are you doing next?" And I said, I don't need a lot of money. I just need constant money.
Sure.
I had no answer for him.
Wow.
But Robin Williams that's the only thing if you're putting anything down there, I did a cameo. It's called A Friggin' Christmas Miracle.
Oh, cool.
It was fun.
Well, and you say you're not sure if you believe you're an icon, but yet you have probably one of the most iconic comedy characters of the last 20 years. You have Larry on the Newhart show, right? So
yeah,
it's pretty iconic.
I think, God, I'll sound like some arrogant Frenchman. Provincial people. In the industry, I'm not an icon. I mean, I think I have more respect than I have for myself, but I don't know. Some Merle Haggard said anybody that stays around long enough will be a legend. It would help to be able to sing like Merle Haggard. I'm grateful, and when I'm out, I tell them if there's a happier actor here, I want to meet him. You know?
Sure.
Before I met my wife, I made a lot of mistakes, and I've never been arrested since I met her.
That's good. Since you met her. So with Larry on the Newhart, I mean, with the line, right? The line everyone knows. I mean, is the beauty in that line, is that in the writing or is that in the delivery, do you think?
It always starts with the writing, and I'm sure I never got to thank the woman. She wrote it for Tracy Walter, a friend of mine, and I ended up getting the part, but it always starts with the writing. But I knew in Savage Weekend I was playing this old guy who stands around with a shotgun and shoots, and I didn't want to talk much. I said, we don't do so-and-so here, blah, blah, blah. And then it evolved into caricature years later. But I hope that I could see subconsciously what's funny. But the two brothers with the same name who were wonderful theater actors, and it's easy for me to think I was more important.
Sure.
It was... to me, the Three Stooges or the Marx Brothers, they're funny to look at.
Sure, yeah. You said that being typecasted is better than not being casted at all. So, but I mean, is that playing that type of character, is it ever become tiresome to you, though? I mean, because you look at
about the seventh or eighth, Bob always changed producers every 2 years so that they wouldn't get too much power. Well, inevitably, the quality of the writing's going to change.
Sure.
So it became a job, but it was nice to be able to take somebody out to eat and have a regular check. And also, my parents could see something that wasn't all four-letter words and naked bodies. So that was a gift.
Sure.
They passed away, but but there's all kinds of drawbacks to being on a hit television series. Maybe if you're Bruce Willis or you look like Johnny Depp or Steve McQueen, but I was doing a supporting character. Ridley Scott's late casting director, I'll say tisk. Late casting director said, they pay me to find people who haven't been on TV series. But I've been able to support my wife. She still might leave me, though. She's very intelligent. You got a great laugh, man. I hope you're not doing it to make me.
No. This is great. So I'm I'm such a fan of Bob Newhart too. Quincy, I just did a huge interview. I'm not sure if you know who he is, but Bill Richmond. Do you know who Bill is? He wrote all the Jerry Lewis movies, and he wrote For Laughing,
interesting.
and his biggest regret was the fact that he could not write for your guys' show.
That was a sweet thing.
And
what a compliment.
So working with Bob, and then Tom Poston, and I mean, what do you learn about comedy? In the years you spent working with them that you hadn't known prior in terms of acting and delivery?
Well, Bob, for the record, Bob is a saint.
Mm-hmm.
But you learn that you better not get on the wrong side of the power. They wanted to give us a series, and they when it was canceled, I got a certain amount of money for the option. But all during the show, he would not let us do commercials for American Express. He would not let us do PR. He didn't want us to do a spin-off. The producer stood right and said, I don't know why he wouldn't let you all do that. You got to sit. But I learned, know your place in the pecking order.
Sure.
He has a great, great sense of humor, and
mm-hmm.
he said something funny to me one time. He said, brilliant is Hollywood's word for fair. And, it's a joke, but it's kind of true. They motivate you, and they call it a town where you can die of encouragement.
Mm-hmm.
Brilliant, Billy. Now do it again. Tom Poston, I loved him. He took me to a big commercial agent, and he is
mm-hmm.
generous and very quiet about it. He had been a boxer. He was in the war,
mm-hmm.
in the service. He flew. I think it was Army Air Corps, and I knew nothing about that till he was gone. He's got a son who's a lawyer,
mm-hmm.
but I liked him a lot.
Sure.
And, Bob is he's a tough businessman. His manager ran MTM, so he was incredibly powerful.
Gotcha.
And he got rid of a lot of people. Like the creator of the show.
So I get one last question for Newhart, and so I mean you've kind of hinted around about this Southern persona, but I mean, so if you could put it into words, who do you think that Larry was? I mean, who was he as a guy, do you think?
Well, I'd love to say he was a drunk and slightly insane, but he had true insight into what was going on in the world. I just thank you for laughing. I'm thanking you for laughing, man. I hear people, and please don't take me literally. I love the sound of my voice.
Mm-hmm.
We can get carried away when you praise us, and self-deception thrives in the compost of flattery.
Well, on that note, do you have a favorite episode of Newhart? Because I tend to like that 4-season episode, Larry's Dead, Long Live Larry.
I like the one about the prodigal Daryl, and he takes off and gets a big head, but he comes back. And to show you how wise Tony is, he said, you like the show where I wasn't there most of the show. Tony is very well read.
Sure.
And John is the sweetest guy in the world. I kept citing Tony, and John got mad at me one time and said, I came in second, meaning I'm praising Tony and not praising John for getting us a trip to Cleveland when all I was doing was trying to say I had nothing to do with this guy. We got along, but Tony's 10 times smarter than I am. And John's 10 times kinder.
Sure, nice.
I'm 10 times more egotistical.
Well, if you don't mind me saying, I think that Larry is a more iconic character from that show than any of the other characters. If you think about it, really, everyone remembers Larry from Newhart over Newhart, I think. But that's just
you're very sweet. It was lovely to have, as I said, a regular job. And Bob has said that he got more questions about that character. And I don't want to fall into the trap.
Sure.
The show went down the second year. Then when they wrote us in, it went back up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Had very little to do with me, and it was the two brothers, and that we got the applause. And Tom Poston said one time they came on by themselves. And then I came on, and Tom told Daryl's, watch,